sexy.
You think so? Thank you, honey. See, that's because you ain't been kicked by one of these. Bo, how you doing?
I'm doing great. If it was any better, I probably couldn't take it.
I'm sitting here with Bo Jackson. I'm so glad to see you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, honey, you know, everybody talks about what a fabulous body you have, and it's true.
Oh,
it's true. No, you are just wonderful to look at, you know?
Well, I've gotten this way by a lot of hard work and extra hard work this summer, so, and the proper diet, so
yeah.
I paid my dues.
But you're so like positive. How do you stay positive?
Well, it's easy to stay positive when half of your life hasn't been anything but, I wouldn't say negative, but growing up, we didn't have necessities. And it's easy to be positive now. I think that I've matured into a somewhat decent man, and I'm holding my own in a world that's tough to just become a man in.
Yeah. We'll be right back with Bo, honey. You are a decent man. Ooh. So, the first athlete since, Jim Thorpe, to play baseball and football at the same time.
I think so.
You played for the Raiders, the Los Angeles Raiders, thank you very much, and the Chicago White Sox.
Yes.
That's a lot of work.
Well, I got to use this energy up somehow because I'm young and I got lots of it. So it's something that I've been doing since I was in junior high school. It's the only thing at that time a kid could do in order to stay out of trouble, because at that point in time, that's when the teenage gangs start forming and so forth and so on. And I was a prime candidate to either be a ringleader, to be the head honcho, or to be the man. But my mother, bless her soul, she told me, if you get in trouble once, your ass going off.
Yeah.
And that kind of set me on that road of straight and narrow.
Road.
Yes.
Because that's, it's hard now for young people, I think, who don't have that special voice that they can hear.
True.
That's not to say the parents aren't there, but that special voice that cuts through peers and, and a desire to have,
That's very true. I am proud to say that my mother was my mother and my father. I had a father across town with his family and everything, but I always had a father. I never had a daddy.
Yeah.
And Mom was that daddy. And she whooped the crap out of my butt when I needed it. She sat me down and talked to me when I needed talking to. She told me not to do this when I wasn't supposed to. She was just there.
Yeah.
And I'm sad to say that I lost my mother this past April, but I think she did a good job in raising all 10 of us, and I think we will benefit from her raising a whole lot more than we would if we were raised by someone else.
Well, she's not gone because you carry her with you.
She is always with us. Now I don't have to worry about picking up the phone and calling her and so forth and so on. I can talk to her anytime I want, anytime, any place, because I know that she's listening.
Yeah. Did it make you angry that your dad wasn't there? Yes and no. It took me a long time to understand that he had a family across town and married and so forth and so on. I always envied my friends that had their mother and father there with them, and they were the ones that always got the new bicycles, the new motorbikes, the new cars first, and got their driver's license on their 16th birthdays. They always had those things, and I never did. And
And from that standpoint, yes.
Right.
And my best buddy's father was our Boy Scout leader.
Right.
And we'd go camping, and everyone would have their father there but me, and so forth and so on. So yes, there is bitterness, there is resentment,
Right.
as far as that is concerned. But by me being an adult now, I can understand that he couldn't always be there for me.
It's hard. I come from a
Yes.
single-parent household, too. And you fluctuate between, why didn't you just take that one day? That one day, why didn't you come to? Yeah, I get it. I don't like it necessarily. See, I hated all those shows that had,
The Brady Bunch.
Yeah. I just, it was like, where's the show about us?
True.
You know.
There isn't.
No.
There isn't one.
And it's like nobody wanted to talk about it.
No.
Family is such a strange thing, because when you're growing up how you want it to be. A lot of men do not take that lesson into their family life with them, i.e. participating with their children and their wife in the raising of the kids, or being around the house. So you have more time to be around your kids? Are you all very, very tight?
Yes, I am. And I try to look back at my life and to see how the relationship was between my father and I do just the opposite with my kids.
Now, were you a wild teenager, wild guy?
Yes. I was known in my neighborhood. I was the man. Even through elementary school, I was in the 3rd grade. I used to beat up the 6th graders and take money. I was the man. I'm serious. I was the John Gotti of my neighborhood. That's the bottom line.
What?
I'm serious. And I can look back now and say, I can't believe I was like that.
Yeah.
Because I still hang with my buddies when I go home.
Right.
Still talk to them, and we sit up and we talk about, do you remember when you threw a rock over the house and hit what's his name in the head because he come through your yard when you told him not to? I said, yeah. And they said, do you remember when you hit that girl in the eye with the apple at school? Yeah. And it's like, I can't believe I did all this stuff.
Bo!
I'm serious.
You hit somebody in the eye with an apple?
At about 70 yards.
And where is she now?
I don't know.
Probably wearing some glasses, something. At 70 yards. Is that when you knew? Is that when you knew? When did you know that you were going to not become, but when did you know that you had found the niche that you wanted?
Growing up with my older brothers and my cousins, there's nothing to do but chase each other, throw rocks, do whatever that comes natural.
Right.
And by chasing my cousins, I became the fastest kid in the neighborhood, the strongest kid in the neighborhood, and the most accurate as far as throwing rocks.
Right.
So whenever we would have a crabapple battle, everybody wanted to be on my team. And I'm talking about guys that were 5 to 6 years older than me. They wanted to be on my team because they knew that I wouldn't stop throwing apples but until the last person was hit and crying and going home. That's just me. But at this point in time, right now, I'm still contemplating just about what I want to be when I grow up, because I don't consider myself grown up yet.
Yeah.
I'm living in a man's world, but I still, at times, have that childhood mentality to where I want to wake up on Saturday mornings and watch cartoons. Or just get with the kids and go downstairs and just tear up the house.
Yes.
And so forth and so on. So that will always be there. But I hope that everybody can say that there is still a little kid in them, because you need that in order to keep your sanity. Everybody has to act a fool at some time. At some point in time in their life.
We'll be back with Bo. Stops you. We're talking about kids. When you were a kid, One of the things that you had was a stutter.
Yes, and I still have it a little bit. I stammer a little bit now, but I got my stuttering from my father. And when I was a kid in elementary school, the second grade,
Right.
I was terrified of just reading in class. And at that time, with me having that stuttering problem, I was quiet. Mean is all get out, but I was quiet, and I didn't say much. So when the teacher made me read, I start stuttering, and I get nervous and start sweating, and the kids start laughing. And I read, yes, and I would remember everybody that laughed, girl or boy. And when that 3 o'clock bell rang, because everybody walked home. I just
Except
out
when you
the
came
door,
out the building,
up
everybody
in the
ran.
woods because we had to go through the woods.
Right.
And I'm waiting in the woods.
Ooh.
And I'm sitting there waiting, and they know what's coming, and they start crying, oh, Mo.
And so now, you are Bo Jackson. You've been called the greatest athlete of our time. You have this incredible career happening, and then you get hit on the field.
I actually fell.
You fell.
I fell. I never got hit. I fell. I was overextended when I fell because the linebacker that tried to tackle me, he jumped on my back and he slid down my body and grabbed both legs.
Right.
I pulled my left leg free and took a step, and I went to try to pull my right leg, and he clamped down on it, and I was extended, and I was going forward at the time, so I was extended to where I couldn't bend my leg and fall. So that leg stayed straight, and I fell, and it popped out of the socket. It dislocated right there, and I rolled over and clicked it back in, and I said, well, I've dislocated my hip, or I got a hip horner. So I said, well, it'll be all right. So I got up off the field, and I took one step and took another step, and it felt like somebody jabbed me in that pelvic socket with an ice pick. And I said, whoa. So I sit back down, the trainers come out, and they helped me off the field. And I didn't play for the rest of that game.
Right.
And I thought that I would be okay within a week or so, 2 weeks, because it was the first playoff game.
Right.
And it was worse in 2 weeks. And then I went back home and so forth and so on. And then it didn't get any better.
Right.
It got better.
A little bit, but...
Yes. At one time, and then it acted up again. Then I said, well, hey, I got to do something about it. So I went and had a hip replacement, and that's when all the people
start saying,
well, but I am waiting on somebody to come up with a broken leg, a bad fracture from jumping off and on those bandwagon. So somebody's going to miss a step one day, and it's going to cost them dearly. But with me, I took that in a positive way, because I say that that's probably one of the ways that God was telling me, hey, slow down.
Yeah.
And slow down and enjoy life, because this isn't promised to you forever.
Which hip is it?
You can't tell.
No.
Well, why should I tell you if you can't tell?
Because I want people who feel that they are not capable. Now, see, you're not supposed to be able to do this.
No, you're not supposed to be able to do this.
But I want people who may have this problem to know that it is possible to overcome it. Now, you got this bad Nike commercial. I love this commercial. I love this commercial, you know, because it says to people, you know, what are you doing? Watch this.
Hey, no more questions about Bo's hip, okay? No more questions about football, baseball, advertising. Shut up! You thought it was over? Wrong! It ain't over till the hip socket sinks, okay? So Bo's got a bum hip, so what? Look what he's doing with that hip. He's hitting the bike, he's hitting the weights, he's wearing the shoes. As a matter of fact, he's in the pool, wearing the shoes, riding the bike with 120 pounds of weight strapped to his neck, okay? And what are you and your good hip doing right now? Watching commercials! I think you hear me knocking, and I think I'm coming in, and I'm bringing Bo and his big bad hip with me.
I mean, it's very cool, man, that you continue to drive yourself to excel, you know. It is very important. I mean, I think it's real important, because other people would lay down, and not lay down and die, but stop, you know. They would stop. Life would stop. I mean, the media tried to tell everybody that what you were not going to be able to do. I mean, it was like, oh, it's over, but you didn't believe that. I mean,
all of my life, people have doubted me or told me that you can't do this, or you're not able to do this. And I kind of use that as fuel for my fire. Because when somebody tells me that I can't do something, I'm going to do it just to spite them. Even though if I don't want to do it, I'm going to do it just to spite them. That's Bo. That's Bo when he was 3 years old, when my mom told me, don't put that chair up to the stove to try to get the dish rag. Just as soon as she turned her back, I got the chair, pushed it to the stove, tried to reach to get the dish rag, and the chair slipped, and I burned my stomach on the eyes.
Right.
She said, that's what your little badass kid, I told you, don't you get up there. But that's me. Ever since then, I do just what I do, the opposite of what people expect me to do.
Now see, I'm going to tell you, don't give me a kiss on my cheekbone. I don't want you to do that. I don't think you should. Let's find out how much spite there is in Bo when we come back. Did you catch that? Yes. Oh, excuse me. Oh, my back. Oh, I'm so... Oh, no, honey, you have to apologize for it, because if Mrs. Bo Jackson comes looking for me with some hot grits, I'm going to have to explain this. Because, you know, sisters do not play. I get a knock on the door, because I'm like, who is this? It's Mrs. Bo Jackson, honey. Was that my man draped on you? No, I never met Bo Jackson. I've never seen him. No, I don't know anything about his side. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just all aflutter. So, darling.
I have a question for you.
Yes?
Upon driving up, whose idea was it to come up for the name of your studio?
Me.
Name
but not everybody knows what it means, which is why I love it.
Yes, it's called, well, you have to tell me what it's called, but it's called One Whole Studio.
Yes.
Tell me what it means.
Well.
One Whole Studio.
Well, you know, for some people, it could mean one person in the garden. For some people, it could mean one person on the corner. It depends on how you look at it, you know.
True.
It's all about how it's presented.
How it's presented.
Yes.
I will leave it at that.
That's right. Because you get the forward hold, the backward hold. I'm sorry. You know, I really thank God that you're in the world.
Well, I am a firm believer that God put us all here for a reason. And I don't think that I've served my purpose for being here yet. I think he let me have some fun as far as to go and play ball, and do this and so forth and so on. But I think I'll really start living after I'm out of professional sports and doing what I love, which is working with young kids,
well, honey,
working with young people.
You know, you're my hero.
Thank you.
You are my hero. Thank you for being here tonight.
You're most welcome.
Bo Jackson, good night.
Thank you very much.
Good night. See you tomorrow.
Good night.